Do you love to play golf? Do you wish you could be a more consistent and confident player? Well, you're in the right place. This is the Golf Strategy School podcast, where we discuss specific practice strategies used by some of the best golf instructors from around the world. Here's your host, Marty Griffin.
Hey, Golf Strategy School, Marty back with you here again for another GSA Q&A. Ian, one of our members in the Golf Strategy Academy, sent an email asking about some helpful tips for his warm-up for leagues. Ian says, I play in a couple of leagues, and I always seem to be running short on time. I know my league is just for fun, but I still want to play well, and I feel like this is starting to leak into my weekend rounds. How do I get my head in the game if I'm short on warm-up time? Well, hey Ian, glad to have your question for this week's episode. My question back to you would be, what do you define as short on time? I know personally, I like to have about an hour or so at the course before each round for warm-up and practice. So if short on time for you is only 30 minutes, that's one thing. Or if short on time is I'm sprinting to the first tee trying to catch my group, that's a whole other monster. Either way, I'll give you my strategy for both. So for the first one, if you've got 20, 30 minutes to prep for your round, you really still have enough time to touch on most of your skills that you'll be using that day. And the important thing is to be really focused and purposeful with your practice. That way you're not wasting time. But kind of in general, I would break it down into about 10-minute chunks. So that first 5 to 10 minutes would be physically warming up. You get a little bit of stretching in, hit a few balls, I would say 10 at tops, and I would do it with a short wedge or with a short iron or a wedge. This will help you find a good rhythm for your scoring clubs, and it's going to help you figure out exactly what today's shot pattern would look like. Whether you'll be planning on a draw or a fade or whatever the case may be, this is going to establish that pattern that you look for all day long. Now, as with any type of practice, every swing has a purpose. Every shot has a target, and so I want you to go through your entire pre-shot routine for all 10 of those shots that you take. So, like I said, taking up that full pre-shot routine, doing about 10 shots, that's pretty easily going to run you 5-10 minutes. So from there, I'm going to have you head over to the green and set up the gate drill just for a few putts. Again, 10 at the absolute tops. Honestly, if your first 4 or 5 go within the gate drill parameters, I would say that's good to go and it's time to move on. But again, 10 at the tops, and like we said for the hitting of the balls, we're looking for that full pre-shot routine every time. So go through that gate drill, 10 at tops. What this is going to do is it's going to get you confident in the fact that you're actually striking the ball square and that your putts are actually going to go where you want them to go. An important thing in the game of golf. This really should maybe take about 3 minutes. After that, I'll have you set up the ladder drill. And here you want to take your time because, in my opinion, it's the most important of the bunch. See if you can work your way through it about 5 times. If you go long on any drill, this is the one where I would take the extra time and go long. If you feel that you're going to be short on time, instead of maybe doing 5 intervals in the ladder drill, maybe you only do 4. That way you've got a little bit more time to work through that 5 times. And again, with that ladder drill, what you're learning how to do is you're learning how to approach these shots completely free of any fear of failure. The ladder drill, what it does is it teaches you what failure feels like. And so you've experienced it, and now you're no longer intimidated by it when you come up across that situation on the course. So you can not necessarily be aggressive, but be confident in these difficult putts and difficult shots. Step number 3 in this 20 to 30 minute warm-up would be to head back to the range and play maybe 1 or 2 sample holes in your head. Again, your entire pre-shot routine. And remember to play that ball flight that you determined in part 1 of this routine, because that's going to be your shot shape for the day. So this should really get you in the right mindset for playing your game rather than getting caught up with what happens in the moment and kind of being lulled into that, not false sense of security, but lulled into that ever so common thought of trying to fix your swing on the course. So get out there quick, get focused and run through as many of these as you can in that 20-30 minutes. If you've got practically no time, then I'm going to have you just run right out to the green, do the ladder drill, because that's the one club that you're going to use all flipping day. You might be able to keep the driver in the bag depending on what course you're playing, or, if it's giving you problems. You always have to putt. So ladder drill is where I'm going to put the importance first and foremost. If you don't have time to actually warm up in the range, if you do have to just kind of book it out to that first tee, when you get out there, I'm going to have you take a tip from Jeff Pelizarro and do some opposite direction swings. Oftentimes, if you swing the wrong way, it can help you loosen you up a lot quicker. And at least for me, that kind of awkward feeling of doing it backwards helps me establish a nice fluid rhythm when I flip it around and start swinging back in the regular direction. The other thing I'd have you do, and I'm not sure if you've purchased the speed sticks from Super Speed Golf, what I would have you do is just work through all three of those sticks. They will get you loose so quick, and they really help you find like a good rhythm for that day. Not to mention, they get your swing speed up there. It's something that works really, really quick, and it can be used in a pinch. I know I've had a couple of times where someone will just call me up and be like, hey, I need a fourth. Can you be here in 20? And it's like, well, I live 15 minutes away, so sure I can be there, but there's no hope that I'm going to have any time to warm up. So what I'll do is I'll just throw those in my bag, and while everybody else is hitting their first shot on the first tee, I'm going through with all three sticks, swinging 3 times forward and 3 times backwards. And that gets me loose really quick and ready to go. And again, that backward swing, for me at least, really helps me develop a nice fluid rhythm going forward. And the fact that you go through with those 3 different weighted clubs, it's going to add some decent swing speed. And who knows, even though you're short on time, you might impress some people with a little bit extra oomph off that first tee. So Ian, I hope that helps you out. If you are interested in what it's like to be a Golf Strategy Academy member, obviously you get these types of questions answered on the podcast, but you can always check out more information at the website golfstrategyschool.com/membership-info. And there's a nice little video about what's in the Golf Strategy Academy, as well as some of the science that we're applying to get these practice routines, these custom practice routines, like you've heard me reference here, into the hands of golfers around the world and why they work. So I encourage you to check that out as well. Otherwise, hey, I very much appreciate you listening. And as always, I will catch you in the short grass. Cheers.